Hey everyone, hey wellness crew, welcome to today's session. I am so happy that you're here to join me for it today. There is a button below somewhere. It says thanks. If you wouldn't mind contributing just a little bit so that way I can improve the quality of the videos as well as get new equipment. And the goal is to actually rent out a studio so that way I can film in mass. So that's the goal. So if you would like to help me reach it, that would mean the world to me. Thank you so much. So we're going to go ahead and begin with sun salutations. You're like it was going to be anything else. I know. Raising our arms up, breathing in. Swan diving into a forward fold. Relaxing the neck. Walking our hands forward into plank. Coming into hovering. And in hovering, only the palms of our hands, the balls of our feet, and our toes are in contact with the mat. Or mats. Nothing else. Coming into upward dog. And yes, I'm still keeping with Halloween theme a little bit. So much glitter on my eyelids. I have glitter in my hair, and I'm in all black. So I'm still keeping on theme. For anybody who is, like Jenna said, Halloween is all of October. Well, yes, it is. It just has to be subtle sometimes. Forward fold. And slowly rolling up. Inhaling, raising our arms. Swan diving into a forward fold, relaxing the neck. And trust me, almost every single time I say that, I say it more for me than for you. My head always wants to be up. We're going to walk our hands forward into plank. We're going to go ahead and come into hovering. I'm going to turn midway after up dog. Okay. Tucking our toes underneath for downward facing dog. And you can definitely play with your stance on the downward facing dog. I tend to have my feet really close together, but it's not the best way to do it. It's just a bad habit that I got from, when I was first instructing when I was 19 years old. However many years ago that was, if someone wants to do that math. And slowly rolling up. All right, lifting our arms up nice and big. Inhaling, swan diving into a forward fold. Never forgetting to breathe, which I know it's like, what do you mean? Try to breathe with your movements. So as we're walking our hands out into that plank, once we get into the plank, we should be exhaling. Inhale, hovering. Exhale. Coming into upward dog. Tucking our toes underneath for downward facing dog. And walking our hands in towards our feet. And slowly rolling up. All right, last one. Raising our arms up overhead, inhaling. swan diving into a forward fold, exhaling. Walking our hands forward into plank. Coming into hovering. And we're going to hold it here in hovering. But if you do need a modification, you can always do this kneeling. So your knees and your shins would be on the yoga mat. Upward dog. See, when I'm talking, I completely forget and then I just stay in the pose. So I guess I should try doing that more, huh? Tucking my toes, our toes, underneath. Look how selfish I got so quick. Oh my gosh. Coming into a downward facing dog. Walking our hands in towards our feet. Forward fold. And slowly rolling up. Okay. So we're going to spend a lot of today kneeling, seated, or in a supine position. So we're going to begin by being in saddle or seated saddle. So obviously full saddle, we'd be all the way back, stretching out our quads, all of these muscles over here. But what we're going to be doing actually is a strengthening pose. Because, we can make up our own poses and variations, and it's good. So we're going to come up onto our knees, we're going to squeeze our glutes, and then we're going to come back down. Come up, squeeze your glutes, and come back down. This is a movement that weight trainers or weightlifters, I should say, will usually use when they have an injury on their leg. So when they can't do a regular squat, this is what they do instead, but with a bar of weight loaded onto them. But what I love about it for yoga is the ability to flow with it. And really focusing on your glutes as you squeeze them. I know everyone's looking for a better butt. 3 more. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and sit with our right knee on the bottom, our left knee on top. You can see that my knees are stacked. We're going to go ahead, come into a prayer position with our arms and our hands. We're going to go ahead and turn to the left, bringing our right elbow to the outside of our left thigh. And trying to keep your hands in the center of your chest, sort of like being in line with your sternum. Coming back to the center, we're going to go ahead and switch. So our left leg is now on the bottom, the right's on top. We have our hands and our arms in prayer position. We're going to turn to the right hand side. Oh, I bet you heard that pop. And again, we're going to try to keep our hands that are, close together. We're going to try to keep those in line with our sternum if possible. Yes, we are getting a very good spinal twist. And And coming back to center, we're going to go ahead, we're going to get on our knees, but we're also going to get onto our forearms. Now, you do not have to have your hands like mine. I have my, it'll either be my left or my right hand on top of the fist of my other hand. But you don't have to do it that way, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to kick back, come down, kick back with your heel, and down. Back, down, back, down. It's totally okay. They can look different. It's probably best if they look different because you know that you're targeting a different section of that muscle group. But really making sure that you're leading with the heel. Three more. And three. We're going to go ahead, take that right leg, make it straight. We're going to flex the foot. We're going to go into, let's see, this would be counterclockwise circles. And going the opposite direction with those circles. You'll feel this working your core, your butt, and your legs. All right, so we're going to start with, let's see, clockwise circles, okay? And you have some of them be big, some of them be smaller. And reversing it. All right, awesome. We're going to go ahead, come into child's pose. We're going to come back to our knees and to our forearms. So we're going to kick back with the right heel, kick back with the left. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. You got this. You're doing awesome. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, and left. All right, going ahead, straightening out that right leg. We're going to go ahead and do, this is counterclockwise circles. I'm like, let me test it out first. Again, you can make them small and you can make them big, however you want to do it. Doesn't even have to be a perfect circle. I just dated myself there. And reversing it. And sending that knee back down, going ahead, extending that left leg, and coming into a clockwise rotation. And going the opposite way. So that would be, okay. Too low. All right, perfect. Opening up our knees. Coming back with our bottoms on our heels. Extending our arms straight out in front of us. And going ahead, coming back to our forearms and our knees. We're going to go ahead and kick back that heel with our right leg and do it with our left. Right, left, 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 really pushing through that heel. Last ones. All right, going into our leg circles, we're going to go ahead and start with our right leg going counterclockwise. I got it this time, guys. The first time. The third time, actually, let's be real. And reversing it. Too low. No, it might be closer to like a weird infinity sign or something like that. It doesn't, like I said, it really doesn't have to be a perfect circle. So we're going to go ahead and go clockwise this time. Too low. And reversing it. I hope I reversed it. This would be so embarrassing if I didn't. Let me see, wait. No, I did reverse. Okay, cool. You got this. We got last two. And we're going to go ahead, come back onto our heels with our bottom. Let our arms fall forward. Getting a nice stretch in the back of our body. right. From there, we're going to go ahead, come into a back bend. So having our fists on the small of our back. And leaning back as far as you can while trying to keep your hips and your knees somewhat over each other. All right, y'all already know it's coming. So we're on the balls of our feet. We're gonna go ahead, reach back for those ankles. Pushing our chest up, nice and proud. Taking nice deep breaths from this position, allowing it to open you up. And slowly coming up. We're gonna go ahead, let me do it from an angle. We're going to bring our right arm our right arm above our left. And what we're gonna do is we're going to try to have our right hand go as far to the left as possible and our left hand go as far to the right as possible. This is a pretty intense shoulder stretch. So the great thing is that we have our delts, which are a perfect resting place for our chin. All right. Now having the right arm underneath, the left arm on top, those hands reaching forward. All right. So now we're going to go ahead, get into pigeon. I know we've been doing pigeon a lot recently, but we really need to open up our hips a bit. Let's get rid of some of this stored bullshit we have going on that we're storing in them. All right, so for pigeon, this is how we're going to begin. So our left leg is straight directly behind us. Our right knee is bent. Ideally, it would be at a 90-degree angle, but no one's perfect all the time. So it's okay to not be at 90 degrees. You could start just here actually. So having the top part of your back foot touching the mat, letting the weight sink into the right side of your hip. And you'll feel this like in the entire area. All right, now let's go ahead. We'll bring our hands so you can feel a little bit of an extra stretch. From there, we're going to go down onto our forearms. If this is good for you, if you feel good here, stay right here. No worries. However, if this isn't challenging enough for you, I get that too. So we're going to go ahead and rest our forehead on our forearm. But Jenna, still not enough. Okay. Extend your arms out. Bring your forehead to the mat. And really sink into that right hip. And going ahead, walking our hands back in. We're going to go ahead and get onto that left knee. We're going to extend that right leg so we're on the heel. And we're going to fall forward into half splits. So your hands are on either side of your leg. And you're going to feel this mainly in your hamstrings and potentially your calves. And going ahead and coming up, getting onto that right foot. Just going ahead, kind of checking in with that left knee, seeing how it's doing. We're going to go ahead, bring our hands down, bring that right leg back, bring that left leg forward with the knee bent. And yes, my right foot is cramping up majorly. I'm a little bit dehydrated. For those of you that don't know, I have an autoimmune condition, and so it can cause dehydration and, you know, cramping and a whole bunch of stuff. But anyways, so if you see my foot do any weird movements, that's all that it is. All right, so starting just on the body, really not trying to put your hands, while you're like this at least, not trying to put them like on your knee or not directly on your ankle like I did. And then going ahead, bringing our hands down to the mat for a little bit of an extra stretch. If that's not enough, you can come onto your forearms. If you're like, Jenna, still not enough, bitch. I'm like, okay. I'm just kidding. I do not talk to myself that way in any capacity. You can bring your head to your forearm. And if all of those variations are still not enough for you, extend your arms out. Bring your forehead to the mat. And slowly walking our hands back in, coming onto that right knee, extending that left leg out. Let's see if I want to make sure that this is right. Okay. So we're doing a half split. We're going to be folding forward over our left leg this time. And again, you're going to feel this stretch in your hamstrings, potentially your calves. It just depends on how tight you are and where that specific location is. As I brought up before, I have a lot of issues with my psoas, and what that stems from is from being seated too much typically. But once you find out the particular muscle or the muscle group that is bothering you, right? Finding stuff for mobility to help you not have to encounter it as severely the next time. Going to a Rosti is huge, was huge. It definitely almost cured my psoas issue. So I highly suggest a Rosti. But if you're more inclined like me, we're going to go ahead and come back into child's pose. You can always learn from seeing, doing, reading. You can learn through mentorships. So if there's anything that you do want to learn about mobility and mobilizing your body most effectively, I'll tell you what the big secret is. Because when it was told to me, I was like, what are you talking about? So I have a thing for numbers and Roman numerals. You've probably seen the Roman numerals all over my videos. It's just a thing that I have. We're going to go ahead and get into a supine position. And I forgot where I was going with that story. So, hey, I started a great one though. It really wasn't that great to start with. We're going to bring our knees in and bring them back down, up and down. This is where we're going to hear all the sweat marks. There you go. When you have two sons, it just makes everything so hilarious. Everything's oriented towards yeah, what this sounds like exactly. That's boys. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and have our left knee bent. We're going to have our right leg straight. We're going to lift it up. We're going to come up off of our bottom. We're going to lower it back down. We're going to lower that leg back down. Lift, lift, lower, lower. Lift, lift, lower, lower. Lift, lift, lower, lower. Lift, lower. Lift, 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 lift. And we're going to go ahead, we're going to switch legs. So we're on the bottom of our right foot. Our left leg is extended. We're going to lift up that left leg, lift our bottoms from the mat, lower it back down, and lower that leg back down. Lift, lift, last two. We're going to go ahead and hug our knees in towards our chest, having our fingers interlaced below our knees. We're going to go ahead and roll side to side in a small, gentle motion. We're not hitting an iceberg. We're just rolling a little bit side to side. We're going to go ahead and bring our arms back to our sides. We're going to have our knees in a 90-degree angle. We're going to lower our legs to the right side. trying to keep both of our shoulders directly in contact with the mat or mats. Yeah, I would love to get neutral yoga mats. So we're going to go ahead and go to the left now. So yeah, that's one of the goals. But ideally, just a studio space that I can rent and work out of. Yes, have the camera closer to me. And coming back to center, extending out our legs, extending our arms beside us, having our palms facing the sky. Take a deep breath in and a big one out. Being grateful to yourself for doing this practice with me today. I know I'm grateful that you joined, and I am sure you did a magnificent job, whether with modifications or without them. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to bend our knees, having the soles of our feet on the mat. We're going to extend an arm out, we're going to turn towards that arm, and we're going to go ahead and get into a kneeling or a seated position. Again, thank you so much for being so supportive of my channel, for being a subscriber, hopefully. But if not, why don't you go ahead and like, subscribe, and consider joining one of the membership tiers, because the content is starting to pop off and we're having a lot of fun. Outside of that, I will see you on the next video. Be well, stay wild.